products to talk about, and just, oh, we are live. So welcome in, everyone. Welcome to another Leupold Live. I'm Nick. I got Skipper here with me, or Shawn Skipper. We call him Skip here at the office.
They all do. Please feel free.
I actually sent him an email the other day, and I called him Shawn, and he came to my desk, and he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "What? You didn't call me Skipper?"
As long as you don't use Shawn Anthony. That was what I heard when I was in trouble.
Oh, is that your middle name?
Oh, yeah.
Shawn Anthony. Okay. Well, I am going to use that one now. So thanks. Yeah. So we got some awesome stuff to talk about today. The main thing we wanted to talk about, and we asked you guys questions, and thank you for tuning or writing your questions on Instagram. That always helps us out. Is talking about the new SX-4 Pro Guide spotter, right?
Absolutely.
We just came out with that. I think they just started shipping a couple of weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah, we should start seeing them on shelves here shortly, if not already, at most of your major retailers, any Leupold authorized dealer.
Yeah.
But we have two different models here we're going to run through today. Mm-hmm. Like Nick said, brand new, perfect timing for the season. If you haven't already added a spotter to your collection for this year, I think this is what you need to be looking at.
Yeah, strategic product offering here, being that it's August, and I think hunting seasons here kind of ramp up next week.
Oh yeah, and in some parts of the country, I think they're already shooting deer, to be honest with you.
That's true.
You go down to the southeast, things like that. Yeah. Our archery elk season starts on Saturday, so I'm prepared for none of our coworkers to be in tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like, next week's going to be a bit of a ghost town, you know, here around here. Actually, before we got in the product, I want to talk to you about that. Like, what do you got planned for this season? What are you going to be doing?
Myself, I am not an archery hunter. Just never really learned it. My father tore both of his labrums when I was a wee little one, so we didn't learn to draw a bow.
You haven't felt the peer pressure here? Like, everyone here is shooting bows, and I feel like I need a bow now.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with archery hunting. I love it. I love the passion. I love the hard work those folks put in. It's just not a medium I've picked up. And as I like to joke, I've got so many expensive hobbies, I can't add another one. Right now, anyway. So I'm going to be waiting until rifle season, and in case of some bird shotgun season around here. So I've got... nice. I'll have rifle blacktail here in the Coast Range, rifle elk. I've been scouting a couple times already, keeping an eye on things, and also helping some of our coworkers who will be hunting archery. I've been out with them, looking for bulls, looking for cows, looking for anything, kind of gives a little sign to go on. I've also got a Wyoming antelope hunt later this year, and nice. I'll do plenty of waterfowl as well. As some of our listeners know that have heard me before, I'm originally from the Chesapeake Bay area in Maryland, so a big waterfowl guy, which is beautiful because out here in Oregon, definitely have a good waterfowl culture too. So I'll be a little bit of everywhere, but trying to keep it local this year and get that first blacktail.
Very nice. Yeah, you said you were out scouting, last night or the night before?
Yeah, 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
Did some hiking, put some miles on, then sat on the clear cut. Didn't see much, but it is still a little early and it's pretty warm, so the animals just aren't moving yet.
That's true. Yesterday we got some good rain, so maybe that'll bring them out a little bit, but then it's supposed to warm back up next week into the 90s, so we'll see.
I've already heard our friends in marketing complaining that the weather next week is going to really put a hurting on the archery elk. So I'm rooting for them, but they don't seem real confident right now. Hopefully they do a little better than they're thinking they will.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but I bet some will be successful for sure. So let's dive right into the SX-4. So if you guys aren't familiar, we came out with the SX-5 I think earlier this year. That is the big brother spotting scope to this. So we got a couple different magnifications. We got the 20 to 60 here, and the 15 to 45. So a couple different setups. You got the straight, you got the angled. There was a lot of, I saw on the Instagram post, there was a lot of debate on straight or angled. Mm-hmm. Which one do you prefer, actually?
I'm more of an angled spotter guy. And of course, for folks out there who maybe don't have a lot of spotting scope experience, there really is no difference in the performance whatsoever. They're the exact same spotting scope with two different designs. You've just got a 45-degree angle on the angled spotter. And straight spotter, if you're new to spotters, maybe a little bit easier to use because it's a line of sight thing, Mm-hmm. If you're looking at your target, you bring that spotting scope up, it's going to be generally the same direction.
That's what someone mentioned is like when they're trying to align something that a straight is just more intuitive to be able to
especially if say you've got you can rest your binoculars on top of it, kind of find it with your binos, and then your spotter will be in the general ballpark. Yeah. The angled, you're looking down, you got to get a little used to how to move and how to look. One bonus it does have, if you've got, say you're hunting in a party, you got a couple people out there, or out spotting on the range. Nick and I, obviously very different heights. If we set this up for Nick at, say, that level, I can still bend down and look through that no problem, versus if we're using the straight spotter, I'm squatting down like I'm playing catcher, and it's a little uncomfortable.
I swear I'm not short.
You're not short.
I get paired with everyone on this show I think Scott does it on purpose, and he's like, "Who are the tallest people in the building that can come in?" I'm normal height.
We've got a lot of tall people.
5'11", 5'11 and a half.
Like 6'2.5" is like the minimum to work here. I don't know how you got in.
Yeah, I stood on a wooden crate at the job.
Another bonus for the angled spotter too is angles. So say you're not on top of the ridge, you're somewhere in the middle, and you want to look up it. You know, you got that angled spotter, a little bit easier, more comfortable to kind of get on that and look up. Whereas that straight, you need line of sight. You're going to be your tripod can only go so high, so it's going to be, again, you're going to be squatting down to kind of look up into.
Yeah, someone had mentioned on the comments that angled, I can carry a smaller tripod, a lower tripod. That if you're going in the backcountry, you don't have to carry as big of a kit anymore. So
sure, and I've seen guys say if they're seated or whether it's seated in the woods looking for animals or seated on the bench, do that little trick where they turn it sideways.
Sideways, yeah.
And they can just kind of glance over.
Or you go periscope method right there.
Oh yeah,
if you want to look over.
I've seen a couple different tactics, and you just don't really have those with the straight spotter, but again, line of sight has its bonuses if you're trying to get on something fast.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we got both options there, whichever one you want. Mentioned here, a couple of people commented that you've actually already ordered a SX-4. So we encourage you, post reviews, photos, tell us how you like it, right? We always love to hear feedback from real world experience with the spotters.
And we'll pressure Scott to share them whenever he can.
Yeah, exactly.
He's very suggestible. Don't worry, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, we'll put a bug in his ear about that. So, one of the questions. Let's jump into size. That's one of the things that people want to know. So, for the 15 to 45 here, what was it? We have 14.4 inches for the angled and 14.7 for the straight. So, actually, pretty compact.
Yeah, looking at length, you just want a quick eye comparison versus, say, a pretty standard 3 to 15 rifle scope.
Right. I don't recommend mounting this on a rifle, though.
No, dude, please don't do that.
Please don't.
But in terms of length, it's a couple inches longer than your average 3 to 15 power rifle scope. So, compact as we can get it. The angled, obviously, it's going to be a little bit different build and look because both of these models are available and straight and angled.
Right, and then 62 ounces for the 15 to 45. We got 78 ounces for the big brother there.
And if you don't like math at home, just under 4 pounds, just under 5 pounds is what that translates
I like that. We saved you a Google search to do the translate the units there.
I was told there would be no math.
I was told there would be no math. You got two marketing guys trying to do math on the live air. And then 17.7 inches for the angled and 18.1 for the straight. So you do go up in size a bit more with that, but then also if you want to get to that 60 power, 20 to 60 power range, really get in there, that's perfect for it. So, let's dive into some of the other differences too. That was a question between the SX-5 and the SX-4, right? People want to know, they have the same Twilight light management system.
Twilight Max HD.
Twilight Max HD, right? So they perform the same in low light conditions. What you're going to get with the SX-5, it's big brother there. Better clarity, better glare, better to handle the glare coming in, better image quality, light transmission, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's kind of in general with the Leupold line of products. When you move up, that's kind of what you get, right?
Yeah, you are getting an upgrade. Better components, so you are getting a little bit better design. You're getting the increased clarity, the better performance in all light conditions.
Yeah,
these are both gonna wow you. First thing in the morning and as the sun goes down. The SX-5 a little step above throughout the day, but hey, SX-4 is still an excellent spotting scope.
Yeah, for sure. So you can't go wrong with it. And the cool thing, lifetime guarantee, on all the stuff. So that's super important to mention too.
Yeah, and just talking about price point with the lifetime guarantee, you buy this spotter, you save up for the SX-5. Just remember, whichever one of these spotting scopes you buy, you might go for one of our gold rings. Please do save up, buy the best one or the best one you can afford, or the one that you are most interested in, because you're getting it for life. With our lifetime guarantee, if there's ever a problem, we'll take care of it. We'll patch it up for you. We'll get it back out in the field. So you're going to have this forever. It should outlast you, as long as you're not throwing it off of cliffs out of frustration. Maybe Nick does that. I don't know.
I've been known to go hockey temper here and there sometimes. Also, I forgot to mention $800 retail, $1,000 retail. So that's what you're going to see in the store, comparatively to the SX-5, which is more than that, obviously. Also, another difference that we were talking about earlier. So the SX-5 is designed, machine assembled in the USA, where this is a source product. So that's some of the cost comes in there too. when you do that. So, you know, American manufacturing. Yeah.
Absolutely, and of course, then there's also our gold ring spotter, Nick. And I know some people have asked, you know, where that fits in.
Yeah, right. Yep. So what would SX-5 up here, gold ring spotter right here, and then SX-4 kind of right there, right? That's kind of how we had it mapped out. The gold ring, for me, I really like the gold ring because of the folded light path system. That's one of the things that people really like about it. It's compact, it's small. That design has been proven for years and years now in the field.
And if you're the guy that's say going to take his kit and hike into the backcountry for 7 days, we're not going to see until you come out either disappointed or with an animal, the gold ring is probably the direction you want to go because it is more compact. And, you know, ounces matter at that point.
Yeah,
and
it's got
how much space you can fit in your bag. It really matters at that point.
Yeah, it's got the magnesium body. It's super lightweight. Yeah, it doesn't take up a lot of space. Super rugged, durable. So yeah, it's a great spotter. Honestly, you can't go wrong with any of these spotters.
Oh, absolutely
skills, right?
not. I'd say the SX-4, you know, just for guys maybe a little more mobile, you know, like I said, you probably don't want to haul this around for 7 days in the backcountry unless you're on horseback or have some sort of, you know, pack animal.
Right.
Help you out a little bit just to share the load. And the 15 to 45 here, you know, whether it's your first spotting scope or maybe you're a Midwestern guy who has a lot of flat land and you're doing a lot of moving around, you know, a lot of driving around to different spots just for preseason scouting. You know, it's the kind of spotter that really work perfect in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, a couple people had those questions. Jay Conti the third wanted to know the difference, so we kind of covered the difference. Thanks for sending us your question. Nick Walther Arms, maybe you work at Walther Arms, huh? Maybe.
I like Walther Arms.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and he wanted to know about the gold ring versus the SX-4 and the SX-5 there.
We're changing your handle to Nick Leupold.
Nick Leupold?
Yeah.
Yeah, the new one that my girlfriend's been calling me is Nick Sparkles, so it's my stage name.
You shouldn't have said
I shared that. Yeah.
We work in marketing. We can have fun with that.
Yeah. Oh, what did I do? And so let's talk a bit about using the spotters in the field, right? We posted some tips a little bit ago about glassing tips and stuff like that. Where you go binos first, then spotter, right? Is that kind of how you do it?
Yeah, I mean, you get on that spotter, you get too dialed in, you get that zoom up high, you're losing field of view. You really want to find something to look for first, something to really look at. So what I'll do, say blacktail scouting, so get my binos up. I'm usually using 10 power, maybe 12 power from a big open environment. You know, get comfortable. I'll spend half hour glassing, depending on how long it takes, and ideally I see something, whether it's a flick of a tail, maybe it's what I think might be an antler but could be a branch. And when you've kind of got a lead, that's when I bust that spotter out.
Yeah, right.
And I kind of get myself set up looking the exact same direction and then really start to grid out that area. Because out here in Oregon, very thick brush. If you're going to find it's very unlikely that an animal's just going to walk out and he's going to be standing there.
Yeah,
it's more likely the first time you see them, you're going to see their rear end, you're going to see an antler, you're going to see, you know, a leg with the rest of the animal obscured by a tree branch.
Right. Yeah, it's in the bush or in the tree line somewhere. Yeah.
If you just set up right on your spotter, you're limiting really your field of view so much compared to the binocular that getting a starting point is tough.
Gotcha. Yes.
You know, if you know where the animals are bedded down, you know, say you've been scouting these animals all season, I know they're in this clear cut. Okay, bust that spotter out, get set up, and wait for them.
Yeah. Speaking of binoculars, I just want to touch on it a little bit. You know, I don't know if everyone knows about our binocular line. It's transformed quite a bit in the last couple years, along with the spotting scope line. You can tell there's a new team in charge of designing this stuff, and it's just like before we didn't have a premium level binocular. Like people would ask us, you know, what's your most expensive binocular, and you'd be like, well, it's it's $600 or $700. But now we have binoculars that, like, I was at a match the other weekend, and I had a pair of the 15 power BX5s, and they were next to a 15 power Swaro EL. I couldn't tell the difference, and it's half the price.
Oh, absolutely. Our Santi-M line, that's where the BX5s, that's what they're called. That's where they live.
Right.
I mean, they are absolutely performing with that top shelf glass that folks have been running out here in the West for years. Whether you're a long range shooter or you're a long range hunter.
Yeah.
You know, it's an excellent line of binocular. But it's not all we've got either. I'm very proud of our Pro Guides, which we're highlighting here. That's actually what I had around my neck the other night out in Timber, Oregon, looking for elk, out trying to help an archery hunter coworker find some elk. So I was running the Pro Guides, very compact, very light.
That's what I run too in matches. It's not the Pro Guide, but it's the BXT binocular, which is based on the Pro Guide, a 10x42 with a reticle in it. If you guys don't know about the BXT, check that one out. It's really good. That's what I run.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great binocular. Yeah, it's really lightweight, compact. Yeah, you can't go wrong. Down to the Alpines, right? Now that's another new line.
Now the Pro Guides, they're gonna be the binos that kind of fall in that price range Nick mentioned, between $600 and $800 based on the model, the magnification. We've got some camo skins on there. You can go with a Sitka pattern if you'd like, versus our regular shadow gray, which is what the spotting scopes are in. The Santiams, they're up around $1,000 and start kind of climbing from there, again, based on what you're looking for. The Alpines come down to, what, about $300 on the shelf?
Yeah, I think, what did he say, $250, I think is starting on that, yeah.
$250 to $300?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Alpines, I mean, they're available, again, in a bunch of different configurations. You've got 8 power, 10 power, 12 power.
Right.
Different objective lens sizes if you really want to open up that field of view, and
yeah,
they're great value.
So that question came in, that Stream Junkie, he wanted to know what a good starting point for spotting scope and binoculars were for someone just getting into hunting. I mean, Alpine with an SX-4 is, you're going to be good for years and years and years.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you're not gonna feel underglassed, right? You're not gonna buy something and then be like 6 months later and be like, well, I shouldn't have bought that. I should have bought something better.
So this is a 10 power Alpine here. You get the 10 power Alpine and say the 15 to 45 on the SX-4 spotter. That'll set you up to hunt most things in North America pretty comfortably.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And again, both of these are guaranteed for life.
Yep.
So if something were to happen, we've got you taken care of.
Speaking of guaranteed, I think we had a question. I don't know where it was, but yeah, it's right there. Real Chuck Rod. What's the difference between your warranty and some of your competitors' warranties, right?
We talked about this before we went on air a little bit, and the biggest thing, Nick, I think we said was we don't have a warranty.
We don't have.
we have a full lifetime guarantee.
Yeah, right.
Which is a little bit different. I'd say a lot different, and I think it matters. It really matters to us how people kind of look at that.
Yeah.
So the difference being, we're out here, we're guaranteeing our products are going to perform for life. A lot of times a warranty it's designed for failure, inevitable failure, right? We're not expecting our products to fail,
right? So
we're guaranteeing them. If they do fail, on the chance they do fail, yeah, we'll take care of you,
right?
We want them to perform in the backcountry, in the field. When you're in the middle of a match, if your binoculars, go down the toilet, it's not good.
Right.
If you're in the backcountry and your spotting scope stops, you can't focus it all of a sudden, your hunt might be over, and that might be a hunt you've waited years to go on and invested thousands of dollars in.
It always makes me think of that quote from Tommy Boy. What is that? You guys look it up, or about the when he's trying to sell the brake pads, and slapping the warranty on the side of the box, right? So yeah, guaranteed performance is really the emphasis here. And to me, that's important because I want my stuff to work in the field, and I got a guarantee and a warranty, basically.
Yeah.
So it's the best of both worlds, and I've seen, we've been in business 13 years now, and scopes come in from the 40s, from the 50s, 60s. We've been servicing and taking care of customers for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's a reason we call it our legendary full lifetime guarantee. I mean, we were the first ones to do it, and as far as I'm concerned, we've still got the best one.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. That was a great question because a lot of people get spun up in that warranty thing, just don't worry about when you buy a Loophole product. Like, we're going to take care of you if something happens, but chances are that's not going to happen.
Guaranteed performance against warrantying failure. That's how we roll.
You should see versus the size, of how many scopes we produce and products we produce versus the size of our warranty department. That says it right there. Like, there's not a lot of stuff coming in there. So, yeah.
More often than not, it's hey, can you just clean up my scope for me?
Yeah, exactly.
It's an older scope, and they want to look sharp again, and they're just worried to do it themselves.
That's a great point. I mean, you can buy a scope at a yard sale or online, used, something like that, and we'll take care of it. We'll go through it, look at it. Speaking of buying scopes, there was another good question here. Stevie Z503, how can you tell if a retailer is a legit Leupold seller? One, we do on our website have a retailer list. I think it has all our retailers on there. We have gold ring dealers. Those are like specific dealers that we have relationships with. But there's a lot of if you're buying used or someone has some extra, how do you know that it's a legit product, right?
Oh, for sure.
And that is a concern because there are counterfeits out there. That's what happens when you make a really great product, is people want to knock it off, and people want to take advantage of that. So if you ever have any question about a product that you want to buy, you can always call us. Tell us the serial number, and we can look it up and tell you if it's a legit product or if it's a fake.
Yeah, there's no real concrete way for us to tell you how to ID a potential counterfeit. So if you are buying used, buying off eBay, and you're concerned, make that call. Our guys are always here to answer the question.
Yeah, if it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Like if someone's selling you an LCO for $50, no one's selling an LCO, like a legit LCO for $50.
Yeah.
They went on Alibaba and they bought the fake off there, and you can tell when you run the adjustments and you feel it. You can feel the difference, but from just looking at it, sometimes you can't. So they've gotten pretty good, unfortunately. So just be cautious out there. Be wary.
Yeah. Call. That's 1-800-Leupold. The custom shop team, the tech services team, they'll take care of you. They'll make sure it's legit.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Let's get to some more questions here. K-Rod, I don't even know. I'm not even going to say that name. What spotting scope would you recommend for long-range shooters and handling Mirage? That's a good question. That's more my realm. I do a lot of the long-range matches and shooting and that kind of stuff. We honestly just run the 12 to 40 by 60s, the Gold Ring or the Mark IV folded light path spotting scope. That's kind of the industry standard. I mean, you go to a range, or you go to a match, and that's 80% of the spotters that you're going to see is probably that spotter. It just works. Small, compact. It does only go to 40 power. This goes to 60 power. Some go more than that. But I mean, we shoot out to a mile plus, and 40 power is enough to see impacts. You don't need.
Well, and that Mark IV, of course. I mean, they're still using that in the military.
Yeah, right. That's the M151. Contract, so they're still using that. If it works for them, it's going to work for what I'm doing for sure.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And again, the Mark IVs, the Gold Ring spotters, remember, designed, machined, assembled right here.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about Mirage, they do handle Mirage relatively well. I was looking at last match I was at, I was looking through a Competitors that starts with a B. Spotting scope, and it was okay, but I could see more Mirage than I could see through the Leupold, and that just goes to the engineering that the team over in the optics lab does. Now, you're never going to eliminate all Mirage, right? There's some environmental factors that you can't get around, but there are ways to mitigate it. So, and
that's a key point to touch on. Nick kind of mentioned there too, especially with the the SX-4, granted a source product, but these are our designs coming from a team of in-house optical engineers. We've got dozens of them over there, just probably about 40 yards as the crow flies away from us through a couple walls. Not a lot of other people can say that. We've got our optical engineers right here in the building. They are the people that make sure these products are performing up to the standards that you guys expect.
Yeah.
Nick and I just talk about them.
We just talk about them. We don't like to toot our own horn, but when I do the tours and stuff and I bring people around, they see the engineering department. They're surprised how large it is. And we actually have more engineers than a lot of other companies have total employees. So, and that goes into the products, right? I want to touch on one other thing on that, like the sourced product theme there. One other thing that we do that I feel gives us the advantage is not only are we designing these in-house, but when they come back, we don't just ship them to a store or drop ship them. They actually come back here and they get tested very thoroughly against the specs that we designed, and before they get sent back out. So I think that's one key element too. We're not just drop shipping something from some other country to a store and trusting that it was built okay. We're actually going through and testing everything. So again, I think that plays into the premium quality of the product. Let's see. Let's get some more questions here.
I see a question about the Punisher, Nick.
Yeah, that's one I was
before we get into that, we should probably handle these scopes.
Oh yeah. Go for it, man. Yeah.
So also we've got some other products that are. First, we'll start with what's new this year. We've also got an older product we want to give you a little update on.
Yeah.
The VX Freedom line, since that came out in the beginning of 2018, we've been adding new products to that, kind of fleshing out the line. One of the newest ones was launched in the spring and is available now. It's a VX Freedom 3-9, and it's got a 30mm main tube and fire dot illumination, which previously were not available in the Freedom line. So if you're whether you're an eastern whitetail hunter or even a western hunter who's comfortable with that 9 power magnification, maybe not expecting to shoot too far, you're hunting out of a blind tree stand, that fire, you're going to get our Twilight light management system, and you're also going to get that fire dot reticle, which I find pretty invaluable in the field, versus having a black duplex reticle over, say, a dark animal.
Especially, man, we always talk about the conditions here being so harsh in the coast range, but you lose when everything's dark and you got a lot of brush and stuff. You lose that reticle sometimes when it's really dark. Having that illuminated bright dot really makes a difference. So.
Oh yeah, it's maybe it's just a case of, again, low light. Maybe you're a little older, or maybe you're like me. You just can't see very well. I've had bad eyes since I was about 8 years old. Yeah. That illuminated reticle can really help when you're getting on potentially a small target in very low light conditions.
Yeah, for sure.
We've also got the CDS version.
Yeah, we got the CDS version. So CDS being incredibly popular. The more people find out about that system, the more they can't believe that how, one, simple it is to use, and you get a free dial when you buy the scope, right? So you get one free dial, you just give us some real simple ballistics, and we make a dial that has yardages on it. Literally sight in the scope, 400-yard shot, turn it to 4, and it compensates for a drop of the bolt. It's incredibly simple. There's a lot of complex stuff going on out in the field when you're hunting, and if I can eliminate any of those and make it a little bit simpler, I'm going to do that. And the CDS does a phenomenal job of doing that.
Yeah, I've taken quite a few different animals. I get on them 250, 300, 350. Turn your dial. You can feel comfortable holding dead on. No trying to hold over. I know a lot of the older guys, especially, maybe they grew up hunting that way. Yeah. You don't have to do that anymore. It just makes it easier for you, maybe a little more ethical. You know you're on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't have to worry about anything. So there's a couple different other models coming out of the VX Freedom. They'll be shipping here soon. A little teaser. So we don't have those quite yet, but be on the lookout for those. And also, the VX5 HD, right? So that got a little refresh in the line, plus we got a little promotion going on, right?
Oh yeah, just in time for hunting season. If you're looking to add a new rifle scope to your line, like I said, rifle seasons are, in some places, I think they might be opening up very soon. Rest of the country, September, October, November, we're going to start seeing them really happening for us. You're going to see guys out in the field. We're going to be seeing those trophy photos on Instagram. Please, if you're using our products, remember to tag us on Instagram, Facebook, wherever.
Yeah. Scott says, please tag us. Yeah.
So the VX5 HD, the line itself came out a few years ago, and I think it's one of the best values in the entire industry for the hunter especially. This 3-15 with a 44mm objective, you get the CDS, you get a side focus, you get our Twilight Max HD light management system. And with this promo, Nick, I looked before we went online. $850 online at Bass Pro or Cabela's.
For the 3-15, right?
3-15.
Yeah, which is like the bread and butter of the VX5 line there. So $850 for that scope. The features that it has and the clarity and I'd jump on that right now if I was looking for a new scope for hunting season coming up. Or if you took out your gear and realized that you probably need a new scope, or your scope's a little antiquated or old, that's a great option there.
And again, you get the CDS, and maybe you've already got a CDS dial, maybe you want an additional one, you're planning to take it off your 308 and put it on a 6.5 or something. What is it? I think it's $80 in the custom shop can cut you an additional dial.
Yep. Yeah. If you're hunting at a different elevation or different environment, you might want a different dial. $80, we can get you however many dials that you want, right? Different loads, right? If you're switching that scope over to a different rifle, yeah, $80. So, I was looking a few days ago. We posted on Instagram. I think we posted a VX5 post, and I was just reading the comments because I like to see what people are saying about stuff. And man, overwhelmingly, people are like, "This is the best Loophole I've ever had." Blah, blah, blah. Like that. Just like for the value and money and the performance of features you get, that VX5. Well, did you mention it was Optic of the Year last year?
Well, right? They've given it so many awards, it's hard to keep track. Right. But Guns and Ammo most recently last year named this Optic of the Year. Yeah. Beautiful optic, perfect for hunting. Like Nick said, we've got some new part numbers available in the line. You've got a 4-20, 7-35. That they also incorporate a new target dial. And I think there is more coming in the VX5 line, certainly in the future as it continues to expand. But keep an eye on it. I love this scope. The 3 to 15 with, in this case, no illumination is actually exactly what I have on my 300 Win Mag, which is what I'm sitting on and waiting for rifle elk season in November.
Oh, nice. Here. Nice. Yeah, that's a great combination. Yep. Yeah, and that guys are really excited about that 4 to 20 coming out, and the 7 to 35. So those are in stores, shipping now. 735 is a great bench rest scope too, if you're looking for like a competition type scope or something like that. So let's see. There was a good question here. Oh yeah, the gunner's craft. I'm a gunsmith and was curious, if I work on a customer scope, will it void the warranty, or does all customer service need to be sent to you? Do not work on the scope. Yeah, don't open it up.
One of our custom shop guys just felt a disturbance in the force, and he's not sure why.
Some people even try to loosen the drive pin in the bottom of the selector. Don't do any of that. This is very integral to the. It's a sealed system basically, right? And if you do that, there's going to be other wonky stuff happening. So no, send it into us. We'll take care of you. That's why we got the guarantee there.
We've been building scopes since the 40s. We're really good at it. Let us handle it.
Yeah. Turnaround times are relatively low. I think I checked last week. I think it was below 2 weeks.
Yeah. Actually, if you happen to be an international viewer right now, we have a European service center now.
Good. Yep.
So they've been trained by our guys. They'll be able to take care of you and really shorten your lead time, because I know traditionally sending things back to Oregon from, say, Germany, it takes a little while.
Yep.
Not a problem anymore with the Euro Service Center.
Yep. Here's a question. Josh, is there much difference in low light with the VX3i 30mm with the 30mm main tube with the 50mm objective versus the VX5 HD 44mm?
Oh, you get to go after one of your favorite optics myths here.
Oh yeah, the main tube. Well, those both have 30mm main tubes. Now 30mm main tube size has nothing to do with clarity and light transmission and all that kind of stuff. They do have different objectives, sizes, just slightly, 6mm, but they have different light management systems, right? Twilight Max HD. So yes, you are going to see a difference in going from the VX5 from the VX3 in image quality, clarity. Again, when you bump up in the line, that's what you get. One of the biggest differences I think that you notice when you get behind one is we don't have VX3i right here, but they have a 34mm eyepiece. You go to a 36mm eyepiece on the VX5 and VX6 HD. What that essentially does, it gives you a bigger eye box. It's easier to get behind the rifle. You feel like you got a bigger field of view. You just feel like you have more of the image, right? But that's what you get when you move up in the line. So.
Yeah, and you're also the difference in the Twilight Max HD. We've put numbers to it before. With Twilight Max HD, I believe we're looking at 30 minutes of extra potential shooting time.
Yep.
And up to 90% better glare reduction than some of our competitors.
Correct.
With the 3i, that drops down a little bit.
Yeah, it goes down to 20 minutes, and I think it was 85% glare reduction there. So, great question though. I know it can get confusing when you're looking at a bunch of different models and going through specs and that kind of stuff. I encourage you, go to a store, go to a retailer, whoever, and look through them, right? Try to go outside, look through them in a non-fluorescent light environment, and see which one you like better. Right?
Please ask before you try to go outside.
Yeah, don't just run out the door. They might assume the worst. Yeah, so this is a great question. M7 UAE 2020. Thoughts on all these smart optics coming on the market? Recommended or question mark? Well, it's inevitable. That's the wave of the future. Electronics are making their way into everything we have. I think you can probably get a smart toilet at this point.
Oh no, I've actually seen one of those at a nice resort hotel.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It opened when you walked into the bathroom.
Oh, there was the other day. It was smart diapers. It was literally when your kid goes poop. That the diaper alerts your phone that that there's a poop that you gotta take.
That's aggressive.
Yeah, Scott's just shaking his head on that one. So
your kids are older. How do you know about this?
I do my research. So I thought it was topical. See, now I'm talking about it. No, but the point is electronics are making their way into more and more products. You can see it in our line. We have more electronics in our products. The thing that we run into is making sure that those electronics will hold up to the testing that we do. and to make sure that they're a viable solution and are going to meet that guarantee that we have, that guarantee of performance. We're always innovating. We're always looking at different stuff. I can't tell you, what'll be coming down the pipe in, a year or 2 years or something like that. But we're looking at stuff for sure.
Yeah, and I'd say just as a word of caution too, with the target shooting side, a lot of these smart optics they'll still play. If you're a hunter, some of the more smart optic style stuff we've seen in the last year or two, some states are starting to make it illegal to use in the field. They feel it's not fair chase. So be careful with that. I'm not telling you not to buy it, but just always know your local rules and regulations.
Dang it. What was that? There was a company that made it was the rifle and the scope went together, and basically you looked through it and it locked onto a target and tracking point. That's what it is. Yeah. No, some people think that one, fair chase if you're using for hunting, but just for shooting, it takes some of the skill out of it, right, and stuff like that. So I think it probably can go too extreme. I think there's probably a sweet spot somewhere there. I haven't seen anything on the market that's really blown me away yet, but it's still in its infancy, right? So yeah, stay tuned. Good question though. Speaking of testing and stuff, we wanted to talk about a little bit about the Punisher, right?
Punisher.
Yeah. So Sinbad asked, can you explain the Punisher a little bit more in depth? What models are tested through it? So all the models.
In terms of the rifle scope.
Rifle scope, right? Obviously. We're not testing the spotting scopes for recoil or anything like that, but everything that goes on a rifle, all scopes, all mounts have to go through this test, and that's everything from your Freedom scope, Rifleman scope, all the way to your VX6 HD, Mark 5, Mark 6, Mark 8.
I think I've heard David Archer, who of course handles all that. I think one of the better ways, easier ways to kind of explain and understand is simulates the recoil of that of 3 times out of 308.
Yeah, 3 times of 308. It's roughly 975 Gs. Basically, if you created a rifle that could do this, now David did create a rifle that could do this, and I think he regrets it every time I hear him tell the story. It'd knock you unconscious every time you shoot it because it accelerates your brain so quick. The other thing it does, it gives you a concussion, class 2 concussion, I believe. It stretches your eyeballs because your eyeballs are gelatinous, so it'll actually stretch your eyeballs and you have broken blood vessels and that kind of stuff. It's just not a fun rifle to shoot. It actually, what did he say? In 26 shots, it broke 5 stocks. So yeah, it's a brutal test. And
point being, to Nick's point here is, you do not have a firearm that will simulate the recoil that our Punisher does.
Yeah.
It's, and a good point from Scott.
Yeah.
Every one of our designs goes through 5,000 impacts on that before it gets moved into production. And the reason for that is we're pre-simulating a lifetime of abuse.
Yeah, and it's not just 5,000 impacts, go, take it off and see how it is. They actually do, a number of impacts, maybe 1,000 impacts, pull it off the machine, put it on another machine, look at it, see, okay, was there any point of impact shift? Does it still have all the functionality that the scope should have? Put it back on the machine, hit it for another 1,000, take it back off. So not just going for 1,000 or 5,000 straight. Just seeing, is anything moving around? Is anything going on? Some of the military scopes are even tested to extents above that. So they do side impact tests and throwing stuff up. They do crazy stuff. So when I get asked the question, and when we get asked the question, will this hold up to my 300 Win Mag, or will this hold up to this or that? And we're like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, right? That's any scope, any mount in the line, they're all put through the exact same tests. Go ahead and throw them on your big boy gun that you might be taking to Africa to kill, shoot dangerous game.
Yeah.
Put them on your moose rifle. They're going to be absolutely fine. Like I said, they're being tested to simulate a lifetime of use. We want these products to outlast you. We want your grandchildren's grandchildren to be using these scopes if they want to.
And because I love squashing myths and disinformation out there. A lot of optics you see, they're like, well, it's 50 cal rated, right? It can go on a 50 cal. And I love saying that to David Archer because he gets all worked up about it. But the usual 50 cal you're talking about is a pretty heavy gun, right? It's maybe 40 pounds or something like that. Has a huge buffer spring in it, probably a Barrett or something like that. And a 50 cal recoil is like a big long push, where this recoil, again, that we're testing on these, is a lightweight rifle and a really high caliber that's more like it's a really violent short burst of energy. And that's what tears scopes apart, and that's what we're testing too. So as David likes to say, he doesn't make many friends with the engineers because everything has to pass through that room, right? So engineering, they may come up with a design, have to go through there, maybe it doesn't work, and it has to go back and get redesigned. It doesn't go to the market until it passes that route.
And to hammer it home, same test for $300 VX Freedom versus $900 VX5 versus $2,000 Mark V HD.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I forgot to address the elephant in the room is that we are matching today. So I saw him walk down the hall. When he came in, I was like, no, we didn't coordinate. So, yeah, we're wearing the same shirt.
I put a vest on even though it's the summer just to look a little different.
Yeah. So, but someone commented they want to know where you can get the shirt. You can get this shirt, you can get this hat, you can get that hat. We got a bunch of cool stuff over at LeupoldShop.com. Bags, bino harnesses, all kinds of cool stuff. So check that out over there. Scott mentioned all month long with every order over $19, which is basically anything you buy on there, right? You're going to get a set of battleship targets. So last year we designed these cool battleship targets. They got Loophole branded on them. You can take them out with your buddies and play some battleship games. It's actually a really, really fun game to play.
Yeah, and keep an eye on Leupoldshop.com. You know, we periodically add new gear throughout the year.
Yeah.
We have different deals. We've built them around Father's Day and things like that. So keep an eye on it. We're gonna, I'm sure there are gonna be future promotions again, and also some new swag. I know we've added some stuff just in the last couple of months that people may not have seen if they haven't been there recently.
More questions coming in. These are great. Fabaka562. I work security at sporting events. What optics would you recommend for surveillance? Any of our observation line is going to work. Maybe a BX4. We got the 12 power. That gives you a little more magnification. Maybe if you're looking for threat identification, you probably want 12 power. You may even go 15 power with the BX5s if you really want to hone in on something like that. So those would be good. And probably along with like a 12 to 40 by 60 spotter. 40 power in a setting that was like a sports arena setting or something like that. I don't know where you're working, but I feel like that would be
yeah.
good.
I mean, you got to think. I'd say most sporting events that I've been to, even if you're say on the roof or kind of in the back of the stands, you're most probably 200 yards away from what you. That's absolute max what you might be looking at.
Yeah, right. So. Great question, though, and thank you for doing that. That's awesome, knowing that you're out there keeping us safe.
It's actually an excellent point too. I mean, we talk about hunters and shooters a lot. There's a lot of other uses for observational equipment. I was out fishing last week. We got out in the water, and everybody wants to know what the guys in the boat a little bit up the river are doing. So
grab the binos and just be like, what are they using for?
You want to know who's got a fish on, so you know if it's a good spot or not. I mean, there are a lot of other uses beyond the hunting and shooting realm for our observational equipment.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously work for Leupold, so we get to use a lot of the products. I got a set of binos in the truck at all times because there are times where it just comes in super handy for instances like that where you might not think. Let's see, salmon fisherman. I moose hunt a lot. What's the best scope for around $500? What would you recommend?
If you're looking for $500, definitely the VX3i line. You can get most of the scopes in the VX3i line before you get up to some of the fancier features. For $500 or very close to it, you're getting that Twilight Max light management system. So again, 20 extra minutes of shooting time at the beginning of the day, end of the day.
Yep.
Where other competitor scopes might not really be able to see the target ethically, things like that. So I'd go that direction. You can get 30mm main tubes. You can get side focus in the 3i line.
Yep.
It's really bringing almost. It doesn't have everything that say the VX5 HD, which is the next step up would have, but it's got a lot of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's great. A great one. Speaking of the VX3i line, Chris Davis 7526861. What rifle scope is closest to the old Mark IV? So if you don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago now?
I'd say 2 years ago.
I think in the VX3i line, we extended it with the LRP, long range precision. That's going to be most like your Mark IV. A lot of the internals, a lot of the learnings from the Mark IV are incorporated in that LRP. And you can get mill reticles, MOA reticles, front focal or rear focal.
Oh, the LRP is an extraordinarily versatile line.
Right.
You can get everything. Whatever kind of shooter you are, you can play in that room.
Same magnifications as some of the Mark IVs, 4.5 to 14, 6.5 to 20, 8.5 to 25. I know there are some of the lower power Mark IVs that we don't have anymore, but we'll have stuff coming in the future that might fill that gap. But and I know you clone guys out there want the the 2.5 to 8 by 36s. Sometimes we have runs of those, so we haven't stopped making Mark IVs all the way because they're still under contract sometimes, and sometimes we make too many. So just be on the lookout.
And hey, if you want to know about that, if you want to be in the loop on things we've got going on here in the building and maybe catch a limited run of the Mark IVs like we did last year, make sure Loophole Core Insider. We always let our Core Insiders know about that stuff via email.
That's your PR guy doing PR.
Real
live PR. That was awesome. Yeah. Speaking of long range stuff, Gunsy Hicks 39, best affordable rifle scope for low light clarity for long range shooting. Again, that LRP is going to be a really great option for you. I believe all the models are under $1,000. So when you're looking to get into long range shooting, maybe you just bought a RPR or some new long range gun, you want to go something on there. Now there are going to be newer models in the Freedom line too that might be long range specific. So be on the lookout for those. Maybe those ones that will be shipping soon here. So just a little teaser. We were talking about this one before the show. Micah for Christ. What's one hunt that you think everyone should experience at some point?
It's a tough question because it's a big personal experience perspective one. And I guess the best answer would be, the hunt that makes you happy, the hunt that you're out there doing. For a guy on the East Coast, his dream hunt may be something very different than someone here in the Pacific Northwest. It's the hunt that gets you out in the field, the hunt that you're enjoying, whether it's by yourself, maybe it's your alone time, maybe it's with family and friends. I know guys like to go different directions. Some people like to hunt in a group. For other folks, this is my time in the woods. It's the one that kind of reaches out to you. So it's hard to recommend. There are a lot of great hunts here in North America and around the world. But again, it's whatever's getting you out in the field, whatever's motivating you to kind of break from your norm and go out there and, like we say, be relentless.
That's the PR answer right there. Whatever hunt you want to go on. I say pig hunt. You should go on a pig hunt if you haven't gone pig hunting.
Pig hunting is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
If you go to the right spots, it's a lot of targets of opportunity, a lot of squeezing the trigger. Most hunts ideally end after the first time you release your arrow or squeeze that trigger. Pig hunts, you keep going.
You can go at night. You can use all the kinds of crazy gear that you want to use. You want to get kitted up with night vision and feel like you're, going out. Yeah. So
me personally, after watching our kind of feature film Kodiak that we released, or is on the way. I know we've debuted at a couple film festivals. It'll be on the way here, kind of.
Yeah, you guys will be able to see it soon. It's a really great film.
Saw some of our coworkers go up to Kodiak Island in Alaska and hunt Sitka blacktail. I'd love to do that. That's definitely in my top 5 now after really watching their experience.
It looked like a postcard, like the whole time they were there, like morning through night. It just like. Every shot is epic. Yeah, and those Sitka deer too are really interesting looking. Really beautiful deer.
Oh yeah, and camping out in it's the entire island's backcountry, surrounded by deer, bears.
Yeah,
it's pretty rugged, epic stuff. So keep an eye out for Kodiak, and if I'm lucky in the next few years, I'll be able to make that happen for myself.
If you play your cards right, maybe.
Scott says.
Yeah, Scott wants in on that one too. All right. Well, you got to take the social media guy with you because you got to create some content from him.
I don't think there are any pigs, Nick, so you got to stay home.
Okay. I'll just live vicariously through you guys. Cody Wick Riaz. You guys have difficult names, or maybe I just can't read. Best scope for new 300 Win Mag. So you mentioned you have a 300 Win Mag. You got the VX5 HD on there because. Really, 3 to 15, that's a great magnification range that you're going to be able to do anything with.
Absolutely.
And 300 Win Mag, you can take any animal in North America, 300 Win Mag. So
they're
kind of do-it-all rifle.
Yeah, no doubts about that. There's not a critter on this continent that you can't kill with a 300 Win Mag as long as you know what you're doing.
Yep.
So the VX5 HD 3 to 15 is perfect. If you want a couple more bells and whistles, you can go up to the VX6 HD 3 to 18. You get the auto level, you get the zero lock on your windage. Either one of those scopes, perfect. I mean, throw that on your rifle. Get dialed in, and grizzly bear, moose, caribou, whatever you want, it'll fall.
Yeah. We got one more question here. Came in. Garrett Barks, how can I get a green custom scope? So some of you might have seen, floating around. We've got different color scopes, maybe engravings, stuff like that. So through our custom shop, you can get a bunch of different options like that. I would say on tours, one great reason we can have a custom shop is since we make everything here in the factory, we can take parts and we can build that scope, to your specs within, relative. They always say that sky's not the limit. You do have some limitations on reticles and adjustments that you want, but as far as like what color you want, engravings and stuff like that, even if you do want to change the adjustments, if we can on that model, that's an option. So call up 1-800-Loophole, hit the custom shop option. talk to the guys there. They'll get you set up. We do offer Cerakoted scopes now. I know a lot of guys out there are getting rifles Cerakoted. Maybe it came stock from the factory Cerakoted. One of the ones in burnt bronze. I think there's a couple different companies now doing the burnt bronze rifles, and guys want scopes to match that. So
yeah, we did the American flag theme one back in the spring.
Oh, that's true.
I believe we just pushed a couple on Instagram. Looking at Scott, I think he named one Electric Orchid.
Oh yeah. So Scott and I were just like, oh yeah. New scope from the custom shop just came out. So 350 Legend is getting pretty popular. I believe it's the fastest straight-walled cartridge available now, right?
And for you folks listening at home, big thing, the reason straight-wall cartridges are kind of making a comeback here is a lot of the states that had previously only allowed shotgun or muzzleloader hunting for deer are opening things up to straight-wall cartridges. So it's changing the game, especially in a lot of those eastern states. I'm originally from the state of Delaware, where just last year they opened it up to 450 Bushmaster. I know 350 Legend won't be very far behind.
Right, yeah. So the custom shop, in their infinite wisdom, went ahead and designed a scope specifically for the 350 Legend. Excuse me. So it actually has a dial on top that's calibrated for that load already. So, great thing about CDS, you get the scope and then you get the dial sent to you. This scope already comes with the dial on it for the load for that 350 Legend. It comes in some cool Cerakote colors. I think there was that burnt bronze. I think there was a gray color too. It's kind of a sniper gray, yeah. So two-tone sniper gray. It's a really awesome looking scope. Any of those will fit probably with any rifle that comes out for 350 Legend. I think on the wire today there was another new company that was just releasing a rifle in 350 Legend. So it's becoming very popular.
Yeah, and perfect timing. I know a lot of the straight wall states, they're probably not going to open up firearm deer season for another month or two yet. Yeah. So get on it now. You'll have time to get it dialed in, pick out which 350 Legend load you want to use, and have at it.
So a couple different ways. Call up 1-800-Loophole. Just talk to a custom shop guy. They can get you taken care of. They'll take your order. Or go online, loophole.com, and then find the custom shop page, and then I think you can order through there too. So multiple different ways. Really cool scope though. I don't know how many of them they're going to make, but I would hurry up and get one if you want to get one. So usually in the custom shop they can only make so many. So yeah, very important. Well,
tell them Nick sent you.
Yeah, tell them Nick. Yeah.
There will be no discount.
Oh, those guys are always so mean to me. I used to run the custom shop, so I always have a soft place in my heart for them, but they're mean to me, so yeah. No, they just give me a hard time. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there was one. Sorry, I lied. There was one more question here I do want to touch on. 403 route. Can you still get a Leupold Bino harness? I don't see them on leupoldshop.com anymore. Yeah, you can. We ran out, but they just replenished the stock. So you should be able to go on there and buy one now. So plug Leupold shop.
Not now. Yeah, Nick got this wrong.
From now. Oh, a month from now.
Nick got that wrong again. It's okay.
I already said I can't read.
He's struggling this morning. The Bino harnesses will be back in stock next month. So keep an eye out for leupoldshop.com. Just keep checking back. When we've got them, they'll be on there, and buy them up. We love them. Excellent little Bino harness. Wish we had one here to show you, but we sold them all. So keep an eye out, and they will be back.
It's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Skip. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for talking about all things SX-4. And yeah, until next time, we'll see you guys.